Hey guys, well, there's going to be no monkeying around today. I'm on a 900-kilometer journey, and I thought what a great chance to show you what the BYD Sealion 7 can do. All the bells and whistles I'm going to show you. Come along for the ride. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. First up, let's talk cruise control. We're talking intelligent cruise control. So here I am. This button here will activate the intelligent cruise control. When you activate the intelligent cruise control, whatever speed you're doing is the speed set, and then you can slow down or speed up the car using this toggle here, and it tends to move to the nearest 5 kilometer. So it was set at 97. I toggled down once and it jumped down to 95 kilometers. Anyways, I'm cruising along at 95 kilometers an hour, and the ICC Intelligent Cruise Control includes two things. It includes adaptive cruise control, and it includes self-steering. Now, let's talk about the self-steering. The self-steering keeps the car in the lane, and when there's a curve, like there's about to be right now, the car will take that curve. Now, there are limits if you're going quite fast or if the curve is quite tight. No, it's not going to be able to stay in the lane. But for most curves that you're going to encounter, however, it works quite well. Now, with the self-steering, the car will tell you every now and then to grab the steering wheel just to make sure you haven't fallen asleep. And if you do other things like take your seatbelt off, it's also going to disconnect the system. So if you keep your eyes on the screen down here where I'm pointing right now, and there's a car, the car icon is, every now and then a little red message will pop up saying to grab the steering wheel. And so when you do that, the message goes away. If you don't grab the steering wheel in time, it'll start to beep, and then there it is there. Please turn the steering wheel gently. So I just did that. But if you don't do that, it'll start beeping, and then if you ignore it, it beeps faster, and then if you ignore it further, it will turn off the intelligent cruise control system. The self-steering system uses the cameras to detect the lines on the road. And when the camera detects the lines on the road, the self-steering will activate. Sometimes the lines will disappear. They'll be too faded, or the camera will have trouble picking out the lines. When the camera is successfully locked onto the lines, the icon on the screen here will show these blue markers, meaning that it recognizes where the lanes are. And I don't know if we can see it on the camera, but we also have a heads-up display, and it also is blue, meaning that self-steering is activated. But should you get to a point where the lines disappear, then the lines on the screen will turn white, and self-steering is no longer activated. It will also give you an audio warning if you've turned that feature on. I've actually got that turned off. So you have to be paying attention, obviously. So sometimes I have found the self-steering will deactivate because for some reason the cameras can't find the lines, but the lane keeping assist will still work, maybe because one of the two lines is there for the cameras to read. That's just my guess. So here we're cruising along. We've got some pylons on the right-hand side, some cones because there's a construction zone here. But the car has detected the lanes because I can see the lines are blue, and the self-steering or lane centering, whatever you want to call it, function icon is also blue. When I turn on the indicator to indicate I want to change lanes, the self-steering will shut itself off. So the blue icon turned to white. I change lanes. Once I'm established in my new lane, cameras will pick up the lines and the self-steering will activate again. Here comes a nice curve. Let's see how well the self-steering handles it. And no problem at all. Self-steering is quite good, but it does keep you smack dab center in the lane. If I was driving the vehicle, I tend to hug the right-hand side of the lanes a little bit more, increasing the distance to any vehicles in the left lane. It doesn't do that. And so when I'm passing a vehicle that's in the left lane, that's also close to the center line, it is a little bit too close for comfort. I'm getting used to it and trusting it. But if you're on a curve and the vehicle in the left lane takes the curve a bit too tight and crosses into your lane, then it could be an issue. And then the adaptive cruise control is exactly what you probably know. The car will maintain whatever speed you set, and if there's a car in front of you that's going slower than you are, the car will slow down to match its speed, and then it'll speed up again when the lane clears in front of you. Here we have a pickup truck slowing down in front of me. I'm going to just move to the right lane because the radar on the car, I believe it has radar, will measure quite far into the distance, and if there's a vehicle slowing down in front of you, it thinks there's going to be a traffic jam or a stoplight, and it's going to start braking unnecessarily. Up ahead now we have some construction coming. I can see it, and so you're going to see here how the adaptive cruise control is going to pick up this big truck in front of me. My feet are nowhere near the pedals, and it's started to brake. And so we're slowing down to match the speed. You can see the negative number here. It's putting energy back into the battery when that happens. And now the adaptive cruise control has slowed down to match the speed of the vehicle in front of me. And we've got lane markers hidden here by the wheels of the truck in front of us and by some cones, but it's maintaining the self-driving option, so it's able to. Now, here's a good thing. The truck has moved out of the way, and the car will accelerate back to 95 kilometers an hour, but it accelerates really slow. So I'll jump on the accelerator here to bring it back up to speed. Otherwise, the drivers behind me are going to get a little upset and start making noises. So that's an issue I'd love to see improved if BYD's watching this. When a vehicle clears the lane in front of you and you've got empty space in front of you and adaptive cruise control is on, let's speed the car up faster. It speeds up way too slow, and so you have to jump on the accelerator. Not a big deal, but that's what I've noticed. So it's already slowing down for that car in front of me that's traveling way too slow. So I'm moving into the right lane. There's no one behind me this time, so I'm not going to jump on the accelerator. Let the car accelerate itself back up to 95 kilometers an hour. Yeah, but once you get in a stretch of road where you don't have a ton of traffic ahead of you or behind you, then it's quite comfortable. You can roll the seat back, recline it, and you got to keep your eyes open, but you can relax quite a bit. So I'm going to slide the seat back a little bit, go into recline. There we go. And on these long trips, this is very, very comfortable. I have the view outside, up through the skylight, the sunroof, and back to the road. And as the traffic speeds up, the car will speed up with it. And the car is also driving itself around this corner. My feet are off the pedals, my hands are off the steering wheel. Until I'm told to grab it again, which I just did. The more I drive the car, I'm getting used to the limits of the system, and I'm getting good at anticipating when it will deactivate itself and when I should jump in and take control. Oh, there's some couple of monkeys. All right, back to it. Another feature of the adaptive cruise control is following distance. To the left and to the right of the speed select button, you can determine the following distance. I've got it set for 1, which is the closest distance to the cars in front, and then 4 is the maximum distance. 4 is quite far, so I've set it now to 1. Now, of course, it shows a lot of distance between me and that truck in front because we're both doing the same speed. But it's going to leave you about 1.5 to 2 seconds of time at about 95 to 100 kilometers an hour between you and the car in front. Here you can get a sense of it now. So this is what 1 looks like. So that's about 1 and 2. It's about a 2 seconds of time between me and the vehicle in front. And then changing the setting here to 4, you can see just how far in front that vehicle will get. And we're still slowing down. Okay, this is what a 4 looks like. This is a 4, and now let's reduce it to 1 once again. I've just changed it back to 1. We're accelerating to close the distance. And this is the closest distance that the adaptive cruise control will let you travel. Okay, oh, he's finally changing lanes. Thank you. Just as I was about to pass him. So I'm setting the speed back to 95. There we go. Turn the indicator on, changing lanes. Self-steering is turned off while I do that. Once I'm in the lane, the cameras will pick up the lane markers. Everything turns blue to indicate that the cameras recognize the lanes, and the car is now driving itself. My hands are off the wheel, my feet are off the pedals. It's certainly a lot more relaxing than if I was doing 100% of the driving, but it is very, very nice to be able to give up some of the basic functions of the driving to the car, let it maintain the speed, let it maintain the lane, and I just take on the role of not so much a passenger, but as a monitor. I'm monitoring the car as it's doing its business, ready to jump in should I need to. One of the icons on the screen I didn't mention yet is the word high over here. This refers to regenerative braking. So when you take your foot off the gas, the degree to which the car will use regenerative braking to slow down. You can choose, and you do that through this button right here, is you can change the regenerative braking to standard. So you've got standard or you've got high. I have it set on high all the time, and that way I'm maximizing the amount of power I can put back into the battery. Is this guy gonna pull in front of me? No, he isn't, but he is half in my lane already. So that's another feature. He needs to move out of the way of this very slow moving truck here, so he starts, at least that truck driver was respecting my space, put the indicator on and waited for me to clear. Didn't wait 100%. He started to creep over and cross the center line, but there was enough room for me to get past him. And as I look in the rearview mirror, I can see he's already made it into the right lane and is passing that green truck. But there have been times when I've come upon a mother trucker like that, and no indicator, no warning, will just move right in front of you. And if you're not paying attention, you're gonna run right into the back of it. And that will happen at night. And sometimes these mother truckers don't have lights on the back, and if there's no street lights at that point in the road, you could really be blind and not even see him until you were right on top of him. All right, let's talk about this feature here, this button right here, which is the lane blind spot. As you'll notice here that the blind spot icon, when it detects a vehicle, it will turn blue, while these will also flash red. It tends not to do that when you're passing a vehicle. It will usually just do that when a vehicle behind you comes up on you. So here I'm passing this truck, and it did turn blue for a second and then flash there. Also, that truck, I don't know if you noticed, but the driver of the truck crossed the dashed lines between the lanes and moved into my lane a little bit. Okay, you can see the blind spot indicator has activated, and it's guy's past me now, so let me move back into the right. And now we're going to accelerate back to 95 kilometers an hour. And my feet are off the pedals, my hands off the steering wheel. We're self-driving again. All right, now I'd like to demonstrate another feature the car has, and that is that it monitors your eyeballs. There is a camera just over here on the pillar, I think it's called the A pillar, that's watching me. And if I take my eyes off the road and I'm seemingly distracted by something, it'll beep a little warning at me. So let's do that now. I'm just looking off to the right. I'm taking my eyes off the road. And in a minute now, we'll get a little warning saying, hey, put your eyes back on the road. There it is. Yeah, keep your eyes on the road. And there's also a feature that'll warn, it detects if you're getting sleepy, and it'll tell you, hey, you're getting sleepy, pay attention, maybe slow down, maybe get a coffee. Now, you can disable a lot of that, so I'm going to demonstrate that now. First, let's just get around this truck. Here we go. So, over on the on the screen, you'll get this menu of handy features. And one of the items on the menu is this idea here, what looks like the coffee cup. Whoops, let's just get that back. There we go. So you hit the coffee cup here. There we go. And this is our DMS, or driver monitoring system. Now, what you can do is just turn it off. So I've just done that. And click OK. So now it's off. And it tells me on the screen down below that it's been turned off. And now I'm not going to get that annoying message to keep your eyes on the screen. Now instead, it's put a little coffee cup icon here for me saying, hey, this is a warning that the driver monitoring system has indeed been turned off. So there's a way around that to get rid of that. Watch this. Again, I'm going to turn the whole driver monitoring system back on, but I'm just going to disable the distraction warning. All right, that's now been disabled. And there's a warning coming on the screen that I've disabled it, but now the little coffee cup icon is gone. And so that's kind of how I like to set things up when I'm driving. I don't like that annoying reminder to be looking at the road, but I do like the idea of having the fatigue system on there, and I don't like the coffee cup icon cluttering up my screen, so that's my way of getting around all that. All right, let's go back to the home screen and our navigation. All right, that's the driver monitoring system. Here's a 90 km/h speed limit sign that we passed on the right, and then we also see the 90 pop up in the heads-up display telling us that's the speed limit. Up the signs, and it will tell you what the last sign said. So the last sign that we passed said 90 km/h. And then the next one beside that tells it's set at 95. There's a blue icon here, and that, by the way, is also on the screen down here. That's the speed that I have set on the cruise control, 95 km/h. By the way, driving on these roads, it's actually quite accepted to be traveling at 120 km/h and not getting any tickets. I'm keeping the car below 100 km/h during the break-in period, which is the first 2,000 kilometers. That's also why this icon is here. This little leaf here I'm pointing at, that is the icon for the mode, and I am in eco mode right now. The car has several modes that you can cycle through. There's a mode switch down here on the center console. Here it is. So by toggling this switch up, it changes the mode. So I just switched into snow mode for some reason, a sport mode, normal mode, and eco mode is back. I noticed that the intelligent cruise control turned itself off when I did that, so I've just reactivated it. All right, now the display that we have here, there's the driver's display. The right-hand side area right here, there's several screens, there's several options that you have. So clicking this button here will scroll through those options. So right now it's showing me the navigation display. If I hit it with my thumb one time on the right here, now it's showing me speed limit settings, which I don't have set. This is a timer, so when you want to measure the speed from 0 to 100, this is what you use. This is showing me any music I might be listening to, and then back to the map. Then on the other side of the display, likewise, we have several screens we can scroll through, and that's using this button here on the steering wheel. So this is showing me tire pressure. One click shows me how much power is being used at the moment, kind of the history, how much power I'm using right now, and over the last 50 kilometers, what my kind of average rate was of power use. Hit that again, it's the cumulative power being used. So I believe that's over since, I don't know, since the life of the car, I believe. So there you go. Moving on again, back to tire pressure. The display down here shows me the current battery state of charge, which is at 70%, and I have 355 kilometers remaining to travel. And that's set to dynamic, so that'll adjust according to my driving habits. Of course, highway driving, faster driving, uses more power than city driving, so if I had been doing all my driving in the city recently, then this range would be higher. So what does it say? 70%, 69%, and 354 kilometers to go. And then checking my map, I have 249 kilometers to my destination. So, and I'll be staying overnight, and I know that there's a charging station at that town where I'll be able to charge back up. The next icon to talk about is this letter A that you see right here. Okay, so here's a good example, and we'll be able to maybe demonstrate the A, what this A means up here, depending on the lights. We have a set of lights coming up, and they're red, so we're going to have to stop. And you can't trust the adaptive cruise control here, so I'm going to tap the brakes to deactivate the intelligent cruise control system. The car is braking on its own using the dynamic braking, feeding power back into the battery. Now it won't go all the way to the zero. It'll just slow down to about maybe 4 or 5 kilometers an hour. So I'll have to get on the brake pedal here to bring it to the complete stop. When you get to a complete stop, after a few seconds, the A icon here turns green, and it's also gone green in the heads-up display, and that's auto hold. I can now take my foot off the brake pedal, and the car will just hold itself here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to re-engage the intelligent cruise control. So it's turned blue on the screen, and the A icon has turned off. So it's still holding itself. And then when the light turns green and traffic starts to move, I'm going to get a warning saying that the traffic ahead has started to move, and all I'll need to do is hit the accelerator, just tap it, and the car will take over and start driving. If I'm stopped here for less than 30 seconds, then it will start driving on its own. That'll only happen when it came to a stop on its own and I didn't have to deactivate intelligent cruise control. And so that's the stop and go traffic feature. So if you're in a traffic jam with the intelligent cruise control activated, the car will stop and start with the flow of traffic, and you don't have to do anything about it. There goes the green. The car in front has started moving.
Vehicle ahead has driven away. Depress the accelerator pedal to start.
So you heard the message from the system saying the vehicle ahead has started moving. There was also a visual on screen of that message. So I tapped the accelerator. Now my feet are off the pedals, and and I'm going to tap the ICC button here to activate self-steering. So now the self-steering is activated again, and the adaptive cruise control is activated. So let's talk navigation. I am currently using Android Auto to connect my phone to the car, and so what we have up here is my Google map of my route, and I've got 3 hours to go, as you can see. Now, you can use the car's built-in navigation system. Of course, the problem is I just need to navigate around this truck right now. So this is the built-in navigation map that came with the car, and it works, it's fine, but I have found in the few routes that I've put into the map to navigate, it will take me off in weird directions. It also doesn't have a lot of the features that Google Maps has, but it will let you do things like you can click here and it'll tell you where the closest EV charging stations are. This does not show you all the EV charging stations. It's only the ones which have been added to the map. So there's quite a few missing. I use an app on my phone for the PTT stations, which will show me the charging stations I want to go to. So I'll close out of that. You can also see the expected range that the vehicle is able to do. So this green area is the possible range that the car has at the moment based on what the battery is at. Right. So the OEM navigation app is not bad, but it definitely is lacking some features, and it doesn't seem to be able to navigate very accurately. It will get you to where you want to go, but it might make you some strange turns and take you off in weird directions. And so I've been using the Android Auto app, and then connecting that way and using my navigation this way. So if it's not like Tesla's self-driving app where you put in your destination in the map and it'll take you there, you can't do that. But then again, this car is cheaper than a Tesla, so this is pretty good. I'm quite happy with this. Alrighty then, so there you go. That's the BYD Sealion 7, the bells and the whistles, and hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, whatever, just let me know. I'll try to respond. And for the rest of the video, I'm just gonna cruise along, and you're welcome to cruise along with me. Alright, take it easy. Talk to you later. Bye for now.
you.